Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. We're talking about rhetoric and with respect to police and Black Lives Matter, and there is this disconnect that I've been noticing that I don't know how to deal with personally, and it's this idea that when folks are saying that Black Lives Matter, that they're saying that only Black Lives Matter. And I see that. I see people say that hey, Black Lives, it has to be all lives matter because Black Lives Matter means that they only care about black people. And I've never been able to reconcile that, because if you're an organization that is espousing a particular narrative that, hey, look, the country seems to be ignoring these things, or the powers that be are sweeping this stuff under the rug. These cops are doing this stuff. They're getting off. They're not being prosecuted. They're able to come in with impunity and shoot an unarmed person in the street and then say it was self-defense, that sort of thing. They're identifying that as a problem, and they're protesting that, and they're trying to say to the country, wake up, because Black Lives Matter too. That's what it sounds like to me. So this idea that you can't have both or all three or whatever it happens to be is just that I don't understand that part of the backlash. I understand counter-protesting and saying, hey, look, Black Lives Matter, what you're saying. Basically, you're coming out with this anti-police rhetoric. We need police, and there are some folks that are affiliated with the group or with groups around the country, because it's not really, there's no central organization really, but folks who are advocating for no police and having community-based enforcement, which I don't know. That sounds like a crazy pipe dream to me, but it seems
I
like
don't know how that would work.
Well,
I get to run around with my gun and blast people.
I don't know, as in, like, we all get together and watch out for each other. It's a weird. I don't know. I haven't listened to the argument all the way through. It's just that was what caught my eye when I was getting prepared for the show, and so I'm just mystified by that level of the rhetoric, because why can't police or other folks or whoever come out and say, yes, we agree with you, Black Lives Matter. Where do we go from there? Because that's why you see these protests keep happening. One, because folks keep getting shot, I think, and that's just part of it. And I don't think at this point the cart is before the horse. No amount of statistics or numbers are going to stop that part of the movement. People get shot, there's going to be protests. But how do we say we agree with you that Black Lives Matter? How can we come together and figure this out? And if we're talking about rhetoric, it's just as destructive and critical. It's people saying, it's coming out with anti-police things. That's bad. Police coming out and not supporting a Black Lives protest. We've seen them march in solidarity, but leaving that WNBA game in protest over the Black Lives Matter T-shirts, calling Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization. I mean, we've seen rhetoric on both sides. Where can we put that rhetoric aside and address the concerns of both communities? That's what I want to know.
Well, yeah, I would agree. I mean, you're going to have the leadership of the Black Lives Matter sit down with the police leadership. I mean, that's the thing. It's every community. There is no leader. There's no pope of the police necessarily. Unless, you know what I'm saying? But the police have unions. You could have the union commissioner for the entirety of the United States for the police union come over and say, well, hold on, what do you guys really need from us? Part of what's going on really is, if you do have Black Lives Matter, terrific. Blue Lives Matter, terrific. White Lives Matter, you have all that matter. All lives matter. Nobody's taking anything away from the Black Lives Matter movement, but you have to admit, you can't. If I came out there with this big White Lives Matter thing, everybody started screaming and hollering about how it's racist because I'm not inclusive. Black Lives Matter, that particular phrase, one, is not inclusive. Two, I agree with Lefty 100%. What do we do now? It's okay to say, listen, Black Lives Matter. I don't think unarmed black men should be shot in the street. I don't. I also don't think unarmed people in general should be shot in the street.
But now you just delegitimize the entire movement because
how'd I do that?
Because we all know that white lives matter. That's the whole point.
Well, see, and that's just that closet racism that the liberals like to pawn off on the rest of us.
No, that's your divisive rhetoric. That's the heart of this whole problem.
Rhetoric. What I'm saying is, I agreed with you, but now you're saying, well, I delegitimized it. I didn't delegitimize it. What I said is, all lives matter. I don't think anybody should be shot in the street. Right now, do you want me to say particularly black men shouldn't be shot in the street? I mean, and this is part of the issue. How can I say anything without, geez, you delegitimized it? Well, it's an attack, right? It's an outright attack. Well, since you're white, that's a racist thing to say.
I didn't say it was racist.
You said delegitimized.
You're delegitimizing the movement by basically whitewashing the movement. Saying all lives matter is, and you've seen these all over the place. It's almost trite how this analogy is being used now, but I'm going to use it. When you have a house that's on fire, and the Black Lives community, or the Black Lives movement, as amorphous as it is saying the black community, with respect to police shootings, the black community is on fire. When you have a house that's on fire and a house that's not, the white community is not experiencing this level of terror. That's their argument. I'm not speaking for them.
Well, I get that.
Okay,
I get that.
That's their argument. And when the fire department comes to put out the houses on fire, and for you to say, hey, look, all houses matter, so you should be spraying all the houses with water, and the fire department says, no, we're going to put out the one that's on fire first because that's the one that needs the most attention right now. That's what Black Lives Matter is saying. Our community is on fire, and when you come in and say, even though you're telling the truth, all lives matter, thank you for the very truthful, accurate statement, it's not helpful, and it serves to draw attention, whether intentionally or not. It serves to draw attention away from the houses on fire. That's the whole response to that argument.
Well, that absolutely. But part of the problem is, if you set your own house on fire, then you need to look internally. Why get back to police shouldn't be shooting people that are unarmed? Now, you have there's been accusations that these people that have been shot have gone for the gun or whatever else. You know, he said, she said, all that stuff. But the bottom line is, and that was for you, Mom, but the bottom line is, when you have a community that is paranoid and another community that's equally paranoid, you have to be able to sit down and go, well, hold on, right? You have people that are perpetrating terror, right? At least that's perception. And you have another group of people that are the victims of this terror. At least that's the perception. You have to sit down and say, hold on, how can we move forward? Honestly, I want to take the last break on this segment here. I think the response of the Dallas police chief was pretty good. If you don't like it, we have applications. Come be a cop. Come help us do this job that's impossible. I don't think just, vilifying the police over and over and over in the media is going to get anybody what they want. I think that the Black Lives Matter group has a benefit to sit down with their local police chiefs and say, what can you do to help us not set our houses on fire? That's what I think should happen. We're going to be back after this break. Have we covered Black Lives Matter enough, or do you want to say some more after the break?
We only have 10 minutes left.
What do you want to go to?
We'll talk about it.
All right. We'll be back right after this break. We have no idea what we're talking about. We want to thank you, the listener, for tuning in, because we couldn't do what we do without you. We'll be back.